Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You also saw the time. So y'all know I'm doing Theater Dad for the next 2 weeks. So I had to thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. All right. Today, some people have been keeping me abreast of this. This episode today just sounds like absolute, from what I've heard, it just sounds like absolute total craziness. I'm sorry. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Candace an IMDb page. That's what I think we're going to need from this one. And this is craziness. This is insanity. So, but what I was able to do though, however, is I set the screen up to download her video as soon as it got done. And I got it downloaded. I was able to change the audio levels, but it's just taking a long time for it to render. So I'm going to stall for like 3 more minutes, it says, allegedly, and then we can be ready to rock and roll. So thank you guys so much. She started out acting. This is, from what I've been told, shout out to Ben and others, the mods were keeping me abreast. Apparently, we have to get her. Maybe she was auditioning for the Golden Globes. I mean, didn't Golden Globes were just recently, right? So what's the next award, like daytime drama award show? Don't they have an award show for that? Or Actors Guild, something. Maybe she's trying out for that. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we need to give her an award. That would be crazy. We need to give her an award for the, most ridiculous daytime drama or longest running series that said nothing. Most likely to introduce a term that nobody's ever heard of, like Wakachua or whatever name that is. I think we should. We need to give that woman an award. We got 2 more minutes. We got to come up with an award for her. I can't stomach even listening to her now. Yeah, we need more palate cleanse. You know what? I let y'all down today. I did not have a palate cleanse. I did not have one queued up. Now that is unacceptable. Now that I will say is unacceptable. All right, let's I have a good video coming up later on this evening. If y'all want to watch that tonight. I don't want to show it now because I think it'll be too long. Let's see. This one is troubling. I don't know how to say it another way. This is a good palate cleanse, but I think it's troubling. I don't understand this trend. So shout out to y'all. Thank you so much to everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I need some information. Like, is this a real thing that people do on purpose? As my video is finished rendering, it's almost finished. I'm gonna bring this in. Shout out to Christian Johnson. We're gonna do this is such a weird trend. I'm just gonna pull it up. Y'all check it out. Let me know what you think. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
What's happening here? Why is she putting fruit on the grill?
I got all of my fruits onto my Blackstone. Now I'm coming in with 4 sticks of butter, pure cane sugar.
And now she adding butter and sugar. What exactly could you be making right now?
And we're just gonna start spreading this all
Is that a real thing?
Here on top of our fruits.
Good gracious alive, that's a lot of sugar.
All right, we're just gonna come in with our Hababichi flippers and we're gonna start flipping and mixing. We are gonna incorporate these fruits.
I'm just at a loss for what he's trying to say is, what in the white people?
These gorgeous fruits that we're gonna be serving at our party today.
You're not serving that to anybody. What?
Now what is that?
All right, we're just coming in with our pre-mixed.
See, that's why we can't have nice things.
Cake.
All right, I'm just gonna give this a gentle spread over our fruit.
Oh, my stomach bubbling. Oh, Lord. Yep, I'm starting to feel a bloop bloop.
So I'm just going to come in with some of these rainbow marshmallows.
What?
And now I've got my special sprinkle mix here.
And now she putting sprinkles? Don't you put nothing else on there.
Alrighty, y'all. I'm closing my
What
lid
is that?
onto my Blackstone, and we're gonna cook this for just about 15 minutes out here.
Why
And
you
in 15
disrespecting
minutes,
your
I want the
grill?
police out here.
Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous?
No.
Oh my God, all those rainbow marshmallows and sprinkles in here.
Now, exactly who do she plan on serving that to? I don't know, but whoever gonna eat it gonna have diarrhea and diabetes.
Why do people do that? Is that a real thing? I think it's rage bait. Somebody said they think it's rage bait. I'm like, well, they got me raging about it for sure. Why do people do that? I really hate that. And somebody said right here, why are you wasting food? I hate watching those things. And I'm sorry. I know I played it. So I'm playing the video talking about I hate it. Like, right? Go figure, Jason. What are you talking about, Jason? All right, but I do want to show this though. I do have my bingo board. I'm ready to play bingo tonight. Now, it seemed like I probably should have put some movie themes on the bingo board. I didn't even know it was a thing. Go figure. All right, so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to pop and lie. I'm gonna try to. I'm shooting for bingo tonight. I'm shooting for at least 3. All right, I'm shooting for 3 here. I'm shooting for 3. All right, my good people. The video's rendered. Are we ready for this? In the words of DOC, y'all ready for this? In the words of DOC, here it comes.
All right, you guys, happy Wednesday. I'd like to begin today's episode with a little bit of feedback for the deep state, the deep globalized state. All you guys had to do was to keep the cornucopia. We may have even let you rule over us forever. We have never woken up to anything. That's my theory, okay? It was all well and good until you guys tried to convince us that Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia, right? There was one. We all know that. By the way, if you're watching this and you don't know that, I want nothing to do with you. You're in the wrong timeline. We are not in the same timeline. Today is going to be a very interesting episode, definitely philosophical, meta, because I don't think I will ever get over the fact that Charlie Kirk knew that he was going to die young. And I am starting to believe that so did the agents that surrounded him throughout his entire life. Let's jump right back in. Welcome back to Candace.
I'm already going to need help. Can y'all please just make sure you hit the like button? That will help me out significantly. What is she talking about? What? All you had to do is keep the cornucopia? Wow. Okay. And the bad thing is that she thinks that she gets in her feelings because people don't take her seriously. But then she starts a show like that. And then she wonders why nobody takes her seriously. Okay. Wow. We're in trouble, y'all. We're in trouble.
Everyone in the chat right now saying, yup, it had a cornucopia. I knew you guys were my people. I want to start by saying that the way that I feel, the way that I think a lot of you feel, the vibes that are surrounding us right now is that the deep state is in some sort of a panic, right? We've acknowledged that over and over again on the show. Something doesn't feel quite right. It feels almost like we are at the beginning of the end of a long satanic run. That's why, just so you guys know, despite the obviously sobering reality that the world is run by these people, I'm pretty optimistic every day. I can't explain it. I don't know why. Things are obviously coming apart, but things have to come apart before they can be put back together. And they're just getting sloppy. And if I could put it into a sentence, I would say that it's almost as if our awareness is the threat, right? Awareness, just our being conscious of what they are doing, somehow spells their doom, which is bringing me to wanting to discuss today, as I promised you, the CIA's Looking Glass Project. Now, we briefly...
Y'all, I'm just stopping. I'm just pausing because I have no idea what I'm hearing. I'm like, is there something wrong with my ears? Are my ears asleep? I don't understand this. I might need, let me take a beverage. Hold on. I might need to put the beverage in my ears because I have no clue what she's talking about. What is she talking about? Y'all, this is going to be rough. Y'all. I'm trying to hang in there. What in the world? Okay.
briefly touched upon this at the end of last episode. Obviously, I'm a conspiracy girly, and I'm thrilled that we get to dive a little bit deeper on this topic for those of you that don't know. The first thing that I want to remind you guys is exactly what I said at the top of the show. It is an absolute fact that Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly.
So this is one of her strategies. She says something and she says, this is an absolute fact, or everybody knows. And it's almost like, I'm sure it's a logical fallacy, and maybe one of my logical fallacy people or debate people can tell me exactly which one it is. But it's a logical fallacy where you just kind of assume that it's right without ever proving it. I'm sorry, just because Charlie Kirk said he's a time traveler, that can mean any of a myriad of things. But to say I'm a time traveler, does that mean that I believe I'm a time traveler? I believe I'm from the 29th century. I believe I was born in the 3rd century and I somehow or another jettisoned to today. No, it just means I just really like time. Maybe I really like 3rd century, art and reading and such of that nature, or I like dreaming about the 29th century. It doesn't mean that I'm a time traveler or that I actually believe I'm a time traveler. But the fact that you have to tell a whole grown woman who's had children, who's married, that, there's certain things as like hyperbole and just kind of using terms and phraseologies that you don't mean, that you have to explain that to her, that's troubling. That's very, very troubling. Let's go.
I showed you guys that text message exchange. I said to him in response that I didn't feel the same way and that I thought I was from another planet, that I was an alien my entire life. Just do not get it here. This planet is ghetto. That's how I feel. I don't understand it. The rules don't make sense. I think that's also why I like cats so much. I feel that they can relate to that. They think humanity is ghetto. They don't want to be around us. They don't like us. They know it's ghetto. It is ghetto here, right?
Who did this to me? Y'all are playing games. You all have gone in there and changed the show. This woman is not talking about the world is ghetto and cats don't like us. And that's her justification for somebody killed Charlie Kirk. I don't like cats. So I guess I'm ghetto because that means I don't like cats. I don't like them. They don't like me. We good. Stay away. This is this is some grade A weapon grade craziness.
Well, another bizarre fact is that back when Charlie and I were running around, we met in 2017, top of 2018. So I would say, obviously, Turning Point was an organization, but it wasn't the organization. It wasn't this behemoth of an organization.
But you told the story that you started Turning Point. You told the story that you were what'd she say? She was a mason of Turning Point. Not that Turning Point was already in existence, but that it was that you helped found it, Candace. That's a different story, man.
That it became, he had no real degree of fame. I think that's fair. But he was required to have security on him at all times. That was orchestrated. His security, Schaefer Security, was orchestrated by Bill Montgomery. He has since passed, the late Bill Montgomery, and he was from the military. He founded Turning Point USA with Charlie. Charlie wanted to go to West Point, and then instead started Turning Point USA when he was 18 years old. Thinking about that, the security, him texting saying, I'm not allowed to go anywhere, I feel so important, I think was the exact message. That to me is objectively weird in retrospect. It wasn't weird at the time, it's weird now. And it makes me think that Charlie may have been marked since he was a child. We've discussed these GATE programs that they have in school. And I just think on the basis of what he told me, that when he was really young, they wanted to drug him, but his mother said no, and he was really grateful for that. And instead, they decided that they could send him to this X-Men school. That's the best way I can describe it. I would certainly, by the way, for you internet sleuths, I'd like to find out which school Charlie had to attend. So he was pulled out of the regular school he was attending, and he had to go to some special school for the gifted, like he was an X-Man. And I am of the opinion, it's an opinion, I'm allowed to have it, it's obviously not a fact, but I am of the opinion, based on the discussions I had with him, that he's been monitored since. That his test scores, whatever the score, every test they probably did on him, he was off the charts, and they wanted to make sure that he was being watched. That's my theory in general. on all kids that are in extraordinary and gate type programs. Maybe we should be training our kids to get like an 85% on the test, at most, before the government agents are going to swoop in and go, who is this genius child, you know? And a lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie.
If anybody is taking educational advice from Candace Owens, you get exactly 100% what you deserve. Who in their right mind is taking advice from this woman? I want to know. I'm sorry. If you're taking advice from this woman, you deserve exactly. You don't deserve anything better. What you get is exactly what you ordered. This is crazy.
He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this after sundown. And when he was running, street lights would go out. Like it was like he was in a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something. So to slow this down for you, there are just in general, all of these inexplicable experiences that we have in life. And they try to make it weird for us to discuss them. Like just even being philosophical and thinking about these things for a long time, they don't want that. Deja vu is probably chief among them. We all have experienced deja vu. We are certain.
Okay, I got to stop because I'm doing this for you all. No, we all have these experiences. The problem is, let me just pick on somebody right here. Jenny Rose. Shout out to Jenny Rose. Yeah, I put Jenny Rose in the chat. Let's say Jenny Rose and I are having a conversation and I say, hey, Jenny Rose, I had a bit of deja vu this morning when I was making my coffee. She said, you know what? I had some deja vu as well on the way to work today. Oh, that was funny. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Okay. Did you finish your report? Yeah, I'm working on it. Hey, are you ready to go to the meeting? Let's get ready to go. Very simple. Not a big deal. Most people have experiences that are like that, like Jenny Rose and I just had, where we just like, hey, I had an experience, you had an experience. Okay, that's cool. Let's go. But when you make your whole shtick chasing after deja vus, that's where the problems come in. And people are like, hold on, wait. You still talking about that deja vu from 3 days ago? Yeah, Jason is running around looking for more deja vus. And he said he heard on the internet, he was on Reddit, and he found out that you can recreate the deja vu if you do this. That's where the weirdness comes in. It's just a phenomenon. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's just something that happens. That's it. Because Candace doesn't seem to I'm starting to believe she doesn't understand this. I really do think that she doesn't understand that I can have an experience where I feel like I had deja vu, like, man, I feel like I've done this before or whatnot. And it doesn't have to be more than that. It really doesn't. And I can tell you 25 different examples, and we all could probably be like, yeah, I had that same thing happen too. Oh yeah, you too? That's what happens when, yeah. Oh wow, I'm not alone. Okay, let's go. But see, Candace thinks that these things mean something way more than they do. And therein is the rub. That's the problem. She doesn't understand. And again, it's hard for me to believe that we're telling an adult that this doesn't need to be more than what you're making it, more than what it is. That's crazy work, man. Okay, let's go.
And something happened that we already did that, but it didn't actually happen. You're like, but I feel like it did. Oof, I just got a bad case of deja vu. Well, guess what? There's no official expert explanation for that. Sleep paralysis, for those of us who suffer that, I had some terrifying experiences before I knew what it was. They don't really give us a full explanation for that. Similar, also, another example of things that are inexplicable and maybe somehow related to deja vu, the story of how I met my husband. I've told it many times, how I got engaged 18 days later. No one believes me. They don't want to accept it, except maybe Charlie Kirk, because he was there for it. But I already knew George. That's how I describe it. I saw his face. I know.
Hold on. I'm going to have to run this back. You know, I think the way that she met her husband is very, very interesting. Let me run this back. This is very interesting because I don't think I've ever heard her tell it on her show. I've heard her say it elsewhere. So I'm going to have to add this to my video series on her story of how they met. Let me hear what she says. Let's go.
They don't want that. Deja vu is probably chief among them. We all have experienced deja vu. We are certain something happened, that we already did that, but it didn't actually happen. You're like, but I feel like it did. Oof, I just got a bad case of deja vu. Well, guess what? There's no official expert explanation for that. Sleep paralysis, for those of us who suffer that, I had some terrifying experiences before I knew what it was. They don't really give us a full explanation for that. Similar, also, another example of things that are inexplicable and maybe somehow related to deja vu, the story of how I met my husband. I've told it many times, how I got engaged 18 days later. No one believes me. They don't want to accept it, except maybe Charlie Kirk, because he was there for it. But I already knew George. That's how I describe it. I saw his face. I know that doesn't make sense, but it happened that way. I looked at my husband's face and I already knew him. It was like a sigh of relief. And there's other explicable events and things.
Okay. I truly believe that Candace meeting her husband, I do believe that there's a lot of nefariousness with Candace in meeting her husband. There's just a lot of stuff. And I've talked about it a little bit. I don't want to, because I feel like that's a tinfoil hat. I could put my little tinfoil hat on and get into some conspiracies. But it's just something to think about. Just something for you to ponder about why her story about how she met her husband, she had never seen him before, allegedly, doesn't make sense. Candace at that point was the director of communication for TPUSA. That would mean pretty clearly that she had communication or a means of communication or means of outreach to pretty much everybody in the TPUSA network at that time. Her husband, George, was either, I've heard two different stories. He was either a big donor for TPUK or he was the head of TPUK. Either one of those, his name would have been on her radar. Am I to believe that she knew nothing about George at all? She didn't know that the biggest donor in TPUK or the head of TPUK? She didn't know that person. So when she saw him, she just saw a random stranger. That's what I'm supposed to believe. Okay. All right. But he was okay. But if he was a chairman, somehow or another, right. She knew these things about him, though. That's what I'm want to get to. I'm not 100% certain what his role was at TPUK. Let me say it like this. He was not a pencil pusher at TPUK. He was much more important than just, I'm just a random dude walking around, looking around, don't nobody know who I am. No, that's not the case at all. And for her to tell that story like she does, and remember where she was in bad financial straits. This is right on the tail end of getting sued by that landlord in New York about not paying her rent in that apartment. That was right on the tail end of that. And all of a sudden she gets engaged and gets married. I'm not saying it's weird. I'm just saying that's okay. Okay. That's interesting. It just seems a little bit interesting. Let's bring her back in, Jason. And by the way, y'all, this game is not going well for me. I'm gonna have to pull some shenanigans, y'all, because I'm not winning at my bingo game, and I don't like that. Let's go.
Things like Charlie telling me that he was going to die young. Anyway, today we are going to be showing you clips from a YouTube channel called Be Inspired. We're going to link it in the comments as well because they did such a fantastic job of diving into these phenomena and how they likely relate to another shady government CIA program, which came to be known as Project Looking Glass. This actually happened. These were whistleblowers that came out, like with all of these projects, people that are in the military, scientists coming out and saying, hey, government has this technology and they can peer into the future. I'm sorry, what? What does that mean? Anyways, the narrator of this channel,
the fact that she tries to pretend like she doesn't believe what she just said, she's gonna get an award. When you all tell me which award show she needs to be a winner for, we're gonna give her an award. Because she's like, what do you mean? Ma'am, you believe this. You believe that. Stop it. You believe somebody can look into the future using some kind of technology. Ma'am, Stop it. You believe that. Quit it. This is crazy.
I could not find his name to save my life because there's multiple people that work this channel. But he begins by taking us back to the Y2K scare. You guys remember that? Of course, you remember the Y2K scare. I was actually scared. I was young. I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to die like this. I don't want to die just because it's midnight and it's the year 2000 and they were just kind of pumping all this fear into us. Anyway, let's jump right into this clip.
Let's start with Y2K. In the final months of 1999, there was a global concern that computer systems would fail when the date switched to the year 2000. All the software used only 2 digits to record years, so 2 nils might be read as 1900, potentially disrupting banks,
Credit cards and ATMs may cease to function.
power grids, airlines,
Airplanes and trains may come to a halt.
governments and corporations spent over $300 billion updating systems. It was one of the largest coordinated tech efforts in history. People stocked food, withdrew cash, and prepared for the worst. But when midnight came, almost nothing happened. The systems held, the world moved on. Still, that global moment left an imprint. Some view it as a psychological turning point, the end of the analog age and the quiet beginning of a fully digital world. From that point on, life accelerated. Culture, communication, and consciousness shifted onto screens, fast, constant, and increasingly disconnected from physical time. Some researchers believe
Okay, see, that's exactly what the problem is. Instead of just saying, you know what, Y2K was a gut check for a lot of us. A lot of people, you know what, personally, I did have some money. I don't remember how old I was then. I was like 26, 27-ish. So I had some cash set aside. Sure. I was ready just in case things went south. Yeah, but that was about it. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. And if we didn't stockpile food, I just knew like, hey, if I don't have any, it's just going to be what it is. I just wasn't going to do that, all that, because I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And it wasn't. It wasn't. There's a couple glitches, and I don't even remember what they were. But to make it like something way more than what it needs to be, I think that's where when you're trying to, for lack of a better term, spiritualize something that doesn't need to be spiritual. It was just, we in society tried to understand when you go from double digits to 4 digits on the computer system, how that's going to work. It doesn't need to be super spiritual. You don't have to make it something more than it needs to be. It's just like, you know what? That's what happened. But see, and now he's about to spiritualize it, and that's where I think the problem was.
believe Y2K wasn't about a bug at all, but a kind of global psychological reset, a ritual of fear, distraction, and silence. The code may not have crashed, but something else may have been triggered, our perception of time and reality. After something strange started happening online, people began noticing memories that didn't match reality. The most famous? The Berenstain Bears. Millions remember it as Berenstain with an E, but every book says Berenstain with an A, and that's just the beginning.
If you're running a simulation.
All right. Oh gosh. Okay. I kind of know where he's going with this. There's tons of these. I think they call it the Mandela effect, or some people call it the butterfly effect. There's a whole bunch of different things like this where they just started spelling things or doing things differently than the way they were, than most people remember them. And it's okay. Now, I hate to say it's okay, but it's okay.
And you go back and you change some variables and you rerun the simulation, lots of little things could be different along the way, right? You have many different possible paths.
You have glitches in the matrix.
Exactly. You're now on this timeline, but you remember, you have like a deja vu, or you have like a weird memory.
Movie quotes, logos, product names, all different than we remember. Entire groups of people swearing something changed with no explanation.
This is also very interesting because he's making it sound like everything was one way on December 31st. And then on January 1st, once we crossed over into the 2000s, all these things were changed. And I'm pretty sure if we go and look, no, those things changed over time. They just changed their logos. That's very, it's discouraging because you do realize that she's not talking about the death of Charlie Kirk. Now we are, again, this is the meteor portion of her show. This is the 25-minute block where she's going to talk about the Mandela effect and whether or not Pikachu looked like that or Kit Kat bar had a hyphen in the middle of it. Okay. That's why people don't take her seriously.
Became known as the Mandela effect, named after people who remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison years before he actually did. What could cause something like this?
Are you familiar with the Mandela effect? Yeah. Of course. Millions of people remember certain events that never happened. And so how do you explain that? As we go through our conscious progression, as we raise consciousness, the way we perceive the world, and therefore all that will exist in our world, will morph to that new resonance as a sympathetic resonance. So certain aspects of the old world will just no longer exist. And so we can still have a phantom memory of those experiences, whether it's like Jiffy peanut butter or Luke, I am your father, which he never said that, right? All these things like that literally just like fall out of your new frequency because everything in your world around you, including time itself, is retrocausal. The world around you that is no longer fitting your frequency will disintegrate and dissolve.
Okay, so I'm not trying to start a world war in the comment section today, but Pikachu had black at the end of his tail. Obviously, I don't know when they hit delete on that button, but he definitely had black at the end of his tail. Some of these things just don't make any sense to me. And it's just amazing that we just sort of accept it and we just keep moving on. And when you start asking questions, they try to paint you with, no, don't ask the questions, just keep going on. Let's just pretend. Let's just pretend that, there was no cornucopia. Anyways, this brings us obviously to the CIA's project Looking Glass. Essentially, there were these whistleblowers, like I told you, in the military and within the CIA apparatus that came forward to reveal that the deep state had a technology, which they stole, of course. Please do not miss the part that I keep explaining to you. These people are not smarter than you. They're just more evil. They steal, they plunder, and they steal things, and then they rewrite history and pretend that they were geniuses. Anyways, they have a knack for murder, they have a knack for theft, and this time, just like a lot of times before, they stole a device from the ancient Sumerian civilization that's located in modern day Iraq. Very advanced civilization. They're obsessed also with Egyptian civilization, as we discussed yesterday. The Satanists kind of taking and reintroducing these things. First, they keep them to themselves. They hoard these things, and then they kind of give us certain aspects of technology as time goes on. So they steal this piece of technology and they incorporate it into a computer, and suddenly they're apparently able to predict future outcomes. Just imagine the deep state.
I'm done, y'all. I'm not going to rage quit, but I feel like I'm getting stupider. I really do feel like I'm getting stupider. All right, so we got to do something fun. We got to mix this up. This is insanity. I'm sorry. This woman just said that these people are looking into the future. She literally said that on purpose. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take, since she refuses, I feel like she delegitimized my thoughts about that. And since the people, I'm pretty sure the CIA is the one that stole that stuff. I'm pretty sure it was the CIA. And you know what? I got to give a shout out to my boy Gary and Valhalla. You know what? I'm pretty sure that she would say something bad about them if she could. So I'm going to go ahead and take them as well. This is dumb. This is dumb. What do y'all have me watching, man? What in the world are we watching? Is this Stargate? Is Doctor Who? Which one is it? Is it Stargate or Doctor Who? Which one is it more akin to? Or y'all could throw Twilight Zone in there too, or the Outer Limits. What are we watching? What is this y'all got me watching today? we got Bronson in the building. I'm everyone but a left-wing radical. Everyone. All right, let's bring this back in. Let's go.
Being able to look into a glass. Sumerian culture was known for their advancement in glass, and to see different outcomes. I mean, the amount.
This is Star Trek Academy. If you know, you know. This is Star Trek Academy. This is exactly what Star Trek Academy is going to be like tomorrow.
Amount of power that you would have, and then also fathom in your mind that the people that are Satanists have this power. Take a listen.
This is where things take a turn. Because according to Bill Wood, a former Navy SEAL with high-level clearance, the US military once had access to a device called Project Looking Glass, a technology that could supposedly view potential future timelines.
The project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. The timelines converged.
I do not want anybody in this here internet over here, the best live chat on the internet. I do not want any of you to go back to that Marvel Endgame where Doctor Strange is going through all the different timelines, the 400 million different scenarios to figure out which the best way, and put Candace's face on Doctor Strange while he's doing that. I do not want you to do that. And I do not want you to send that clip to me to dearwokec@gmail.com. Do not do that. Do not send that to me. What in the Lord's name is this? This dude just literally said, see different timelines. This is like a really, is she serious?
Verge on that point in time. When you know how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make.
Okay, so is that certainly 2012 in your understanding?
It's well coincides with December 21st, 2012.
So at that point, all possibilities lead to the same
timelines.
Rubicon.
All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future.
And after that, they shut it all down. Now,
so how convenient to now tell us that, oh yeah, we used to have the multiverse, but the multiverse collapsed and now every choice leads to the same place that it would have led to. You just don't have a multiverse to deal with, which by the way, nobody could see. And we kind of had a sort of stole this advice. This device allowed us to see the multiverse, kind of like Doctor Strange in Endgame, but we lost it, or it got, I don't know. We lost the machine. So now all of the timelines have been crashed together like an incursion. Dude, this sounds like we're reading a Marvel comic. Somebody has given this woman a really bad Marvel comic script, and she is running with it as if it's real. You cannot make this stuff up. This is crazy.
Ask yourself, why would a system like that be buried, and what exactly did they see? Because this isn't just about false memories or tech. It might explain why everything since 1999 feels frozen and artificial, like we're on rails in a version of reality that wasn't meant to last this long. And if you think that's wild, wait until you hear what else Looking Glass may have revealed. So what exactly did they see with...
So there's no proof that any of this actually happened. There's no proof of it. It's just that it feels like, what do you say? It feels like it was frozen, or like we're on a rail that should end. That's just a feeling. Okay. All right. So Charlie, I'm pretty sure Charlie looked through the looking glass and he saw that whatever was going to happen and such of that nature. This is craziness.
Looking Glass. According to multiple whistleblowers, including Bill Wood and other interviewed by Project Camelot, every time they ran the device, no matter what variables they changed, all future timelines converged to a single fixed point. That point, somewhere between 2012 and 2016. After that, the future became unpredictable. No more branching outcomes, just a wall.
How convenient.
So it's super interesting that they couldn't see beyond 2012, or rather they could see beyond 2012, but maybe things became inevitable. That was backed up, by the way, by a lot of different things. Mayan civilization, the calendar, remember that whole scare? Why doesn't the calendar go beyond? So you arrive at this point and you wonder, what is this, right? Suddenly these people who are evil are no longer allowed or able to control outcomes, essentially, or perhaps, so maybe they did see something beyond 2012, but no matter what they did, they couldn't change the outcome of that thing that they saw beyond 2012. So it wasn't so much the future couldn't be predicted, but rather that they couldn't change it, like something was coming. That's how it kind of feels to me. When I just examine everything that's going on, there is this panic, like evil is panicking right now, and they're making a lot of mistakes because they're no longer in control. And I would also add here that one of the things that I've noticed.
Okay, y'all, okay, you guys are playing with me. I'm sorry. I don't know how one of y'all did it. Somebody did. Maybe it was you, Future. Somebody has snuck in and put this crazy, Candace is joking. This is not serious. There's no way a full-on adult uses his or her free will to think that people could change the future like that, could look into the future and manipulate the future from where they are today. No, y'all playing games with me. Y'all playing. This is a joke. This is a joke. It's a joke. Y'all playing games. There's no way this is real. Y'all told me this was bad, but you didn't tell me it was this bad. This woman is crazy. And there's nobody panicking. We're laughing at the fact that, ma'am, you believe this? You believe, do you realize she is called on every people group except the people group that she is allegedly a part of? She's called on the Sumerians. She's called on the Mayans. She's called on the Egyptians. She's not called on Christian understanding because Christian understanding doesn't merge with any of those. But she alleges that she's a Christian. Okay. When I say Candace is an IQ test, I'm being for real. Like, she's an IQ test. She really is. All right, we're going to finish this up. I got to get to, I don't know, man. I might need to go dunk my head in some water or something.
Is that they're trying to turn us all, again, maybe this is their solution where they're going, okay, what are we going to do? We can't change the outcome. Maybe we can just turn everybody into a computer program. Like they want us all to be the same. They seem to get really angry when we behave like humans. Like that's one of the things they're trying to triumph is our humanity. We talked about this a lot with the Charlie Kirk story.
Who is getting angry? That's the part I don't get. I don't think we're getting angry. And maybe there's some people, if you're in the chat, please put that you're angry. Like please, it's okay. If you feel like you're angry, maybe we need to have like a little intervention. We'll give you like a little hug or something like that. We'll pray for you. But most of us are just laughing at this because you know what we're still doing? We're still going to go pay our bills. We're still taking care of our kids in this school play. We're worried about that patch of grass in the front of our yard. We're doing life. We're not sitting here ruminating on this except at 5 or 6 o'clock every night just to have a good laugh with the best live chat on the internet. We don't care. I'm sorry. I think and maybe I'm speaking on behalf of everybody. We don't care. We really don't. I think if it wasn't a slow moving train wreck that we had so much fun watching, we probably wouldn't be doing this. Because it's not, and I could be wrong. I don't think we really nobody cares. You've given us nothing to run with. There's no receipts, no raw plane data, none of that stuff. We have nothing but to just sit here and make fun of you and laugh. So I don't think anybody's angry. I don't see anybody in the chat saying that they're angry. If you're angry, we'll pray for you. But I don't think anybody's doing that. Nobody cares. When the smoke clears, I think the only way we care is the fact that we get to hang out and make fun of you. That's really it. Because I wouldn't watch this if it wasn't for y'all. I'll be 100%. I wouldn't be watching this. If it was not for the best live chat and the most electrifying comment section, I wouldn't tap in. I'd probably watch maybe some clips on Twitter at best, but I got other stuff to do. But I like y'all. That's the only reason.
The reaction, how we felt icky, but they were like, what's wrong with you? How dare you feel icky? How dare you not like this? Don't you know this is what he would want? It's like their inability to defeat our humanity is angering to them. Now, something that was crucial, which was revealed about Project Looking Glass, was that the people who were in the room while this device was being operated, their conscious thoughts impacted the device. Okay. So just imagine this.
Y'all playing. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to say the words that are jumping around inside my head. I got to go. Shout out. Y'all, real quick. Lori is the stream sponsor. Thank you so much for the very kind $50 super. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you. Ruben comes up with the 5. Not going to lie. I watched it and you will be bored out of your mind. I think the narrative is literally falling apart before our eyes. No, I'm going to correct you, Ruben. I thank you for the $5 super. The narrative has fallen apart. I think it fell apart last week. I think it fell apart over the Christmas holiday, New Year's holiday, with the whole unraveling of Mitch Snow. Like, she's just trying to put it all together, trying to bring it back together. But I believe it already fell apart. Kind of like, remember Steve Martin in the movie The Jerk? And he's trying to collect all this stuff that he had in his house when his house was getting repossessed. He's just trying to take everything he can that has value. He ends up walking down the street with like a wooden chair and a robe and some other craziness. That's what I feel like she's doing. But no, I'm with you, man. Thank you so much for the 5. What do you, Heather, say this? Please pray for Cardinal Dominguez Mathis, a Catholic priest missing in Iran. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans going on in Iran right now. We will definitely be praying for him for sure. All right, what do we have here? Thank you for the 5. Charlie is an X-Man. That makes the light explode, but no way he could have a neck of steel. Story be true. I mean, there's that. And also, he's an X-Men, but he had all of his ops around him. So these are great points. This is an excellent point, actually. Thank you so much for Deb with the 5. Love you, Jason, in chat. We are watching a narcissist version of, and these are the days of our crazy Candy lives with a demonic twist. You are so right. Thank you so much for the 5. You're absolutely right, on the money. She's making Charlie look delusional. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, with the 2, thank you so much. I do think she's going to turn on Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. I believe she's going to turn on Charlie Kirk. Phantom says this with the 5. Only a doofus like her would think that the government has the resources to monitor people like she thinks. Candy Owens ate too many crayons in kindergarten. I mean, just to think like, they have a machine to look into the future and the people's conscience merge with the machine. Where did the machine get out of here? Like that. I feel bad for her to a degree. Thanks again for the 2. Candace Owens' marriage was set up, crackhead style marriage. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to believe that her marriage is a sham, and it was put together or made up. Absolutely. Thank you so much. What's Junebug say with the 10? I think George is behind all of this and hated Charlie because of her feelings toward him. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree at all. He also wanted to be head in UK and didn't get it. He's behind all of this. Also, don't come for that cat, for the cat, Tifa. I see what you did there. Well done. Hey, I don't mess with cats. I'm allergic to them. Definitely allergic to cats. So you know what? You just stay over there on that side of the room and I'll stay in another house. Absolutely. Shout out Phantom again. No, the CIA cannot peer into the future. I mean, that's just the fact that you had to say that, man. Thank you for the 2. It's just like, what are we dealing with? What kind of person are we dealing with that I have to tell you that? And then thank you again with the 2 here. She's summoning Ian Carroll down bad. When Ian Carroll, that's her. No, was her guy Evan or somebody that turned on her or whatever? What's going on, Eric, with the 10? Are you still trying to figure out if Candace is a liar? I thought we all knew that she was a liar months ago. Candace is also yesterday and boring. Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb was entertaining. That was a very interesting spat. I'm not really interested in it because it was just a lot, but I'm with you right there, Eric. Thank you so much for the 10, my friend. Phantom says this is the 5. The critical systems were actually updated and backed up before Y2K. The world had 10 years to prepare, spend $300 billion in the 90s to fix. She sniffed too much glue. Like, why is that hard for you to understand? Here, let's get done with this, man. I just got to get done with that. I'm tired of looking at the little face. All right, here we go.
what they were thinking in the moment was changing future outcomes. Thoughts influenced future outcomes. That piece is super relevant to what we're going to discuss. And obviously that's pretty reminiscent of one of the themes of The Matrix. I just am going to assume everybody's seen that movie. If not, you should.
Reminiscent? Hold on. Somebody was going to start collecting all of the times she mispronounces words. Reminiscent? What is that? Hold on, let me back up a little. Okay, here we go.
Just imagine this. What they were thinking in the moment was changing future outcomes. Thoughts influenced future outcomes. That piece is super relevant to what we're going to discuss. And obviously that's pretty reminiscent of one of the themes of The Matrix. I just am going to assume everybody's seen that movie. If not, you should watch it because it was.
Oh my gosh. Reminiscent? Okay, I think reminiscent, I'm pretty sure reminiscent is somehow or another a way of saying betrayal. I'm pretty sure reminiscent is betrayal in some other language. I'm pretty sure of it. You check me on that, bro. Check me. Reminiscent. Look, I mispronounce words, okay? But she does it so
ahead
much.
Of its time.
She does it so much that it's almost like, you got to be kidding me. Reminiscent? What in the world?
And he is going to connect that dot here. Take a listen.
So what exactly did Project Looking Glass revealed, and why was it quietly shut down? The people involved began noticing something strange. No matter what variables they used, the results kept showing the same future, a point where all possible timelines seemed to merge. That moment, somewhere between 2012 and 2016. After that, everything became unclear, like the future couldn't be read anymore. This brings us back to 1999. A year that might have marked more than just the turn of a century. It's also when The Matrix was released. At the time, it was seen as just another sci-fi movie, but looking back, it feels like something more.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
The film introduced a powerful idea, that the world we experience might not be what it seems, that reality could be shaped or even simulated without us knowing. And once you start asking questions, things begin to change. That idea resonates deeply with what many have felt since the early 2000s. The time feels different, that the future doesn't feel open the way it once did. Almost like things are repeating themselves. The same cycles, the same events, showing up again and again. Some people even report seeing repeating numbers everywhere, like 1111, 222, 444, almost like little glitches or signals hidden in everyday life. And strangely enough, this idea of patterns repeating, of cycles you can't escape, lines up with what Looking Glass operators allegedly encountered. The sensation that the future was already written and that all paths lead to the same outcome. Fast forward to 2012, some whistleblowers claim that a confidential briefing took place where certain agencies acknowledged.
Let me make sure I got it right. You people was smoking on your ayahuasca down at Fort Hawktua, and you believe that you could actually change the future. And then you realize that you couldn't change the future, and you got all despondent and all that kind of stuff. And then you started trying to find something to make it make sense. Okay. All right. There we go. This is why I don't. Isn't it wild? It's kind of like the scripture that says it's for man to live once and then the judgment, or like the days of man are in the hands of the Lord. Like it's kind of weird. It's kind of like you're coming to the realization that God is in control of our lives, and the day that our lives is over, he's already determined that. And there's nothing you can do about that. It does kind of seem like they're coming to this revelation, and it's like a bucket of cold water. What are we doing here? What is this?
The shift, a kind of convergence in human potential. This document, released by the CIA, explores consciousness as something that can move through time, even outside of the physical world. It discusses remote viewing, timelines, and the nature of reality itself. Now, connect that to The Matrix, and the overlap becomes hard to ignore. Maybe it wasn't just a movie, maybe it was the first time the system gave us a glimpse behind the curtain. And if that's the case, what else have we been shown without realizing it?
Okay, a lot to unpack there. First, I'm going to say, just regarding the movie The Matrix, you should look into how even the script for The Matrix was stolen, allegedly. But to bring this back to my earlier point about all of these things that are happening or have happened that are seemingly inexplicable, it just lives inside of me that Charlie Kirk knew he was going to die. How? How was he so certain that he was going to die young? How is that possible? How was he even able to describe it as this tragic event? How did he know? How was he certain, by the way, as he said in those messages, that from the moment he signed onto the dotted line to begin Turning Point USA, he knew he was going to die. He knew his death was going to be related to Turning Point USA. That's not a coincidence, okay? It is completely absurd to have people, I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence. No, that's not a coincidence at all. Why did he know that I was going to?
Okay, see, well, number one, the way she's like characterizing the people who disagree with her always sets up this weird dichotomy. Why not just say the people are being logical and saying, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't agree. Why do you have to mockingly say that about them? But that's okay, because we mock you, Candace, so we're not upset about it. We're not upset about it. But when we mock you, don't be surprised. Don't be shocked or anything of that nature, because we are going to mock you. But you could do better. You could do differently. Say, hey, this is what the people say, and you could just say what they say. You don't have to do that. But you chose, and we're gonna follow along with your script. So I just want to make that point.
Defend him. Also, why did Charlie think he was a time traveler? He said, as I showed you in earlier messages, that he was a time traveler and he had to find me. Is that just something people are saying to their homies in text messages? And again, not anything that I would have placed so much emphasis on back when he was saying it, but it came to fruition. The other parts, he did die young. Why did he think that him dying young was necessary in order to change things? He did die young. It is related to Turning Point USA in some way or another. At the very least, we could all agree it's related to him speaking at a campus event for Turning Point USA. I'm totally occupied by this. I tell you, I read these messages and I'm going, what is this? What is reality, actually? And Charlie died. Yes, like I said, it was related to this organization. And I think we would all agree that his death and the manner that they did it changed the world in ways that I don't think we can fully realize, or certainly not in a way that I can articulate.
But you already just told us that all the quote unquote timelines, you just showed us that video and it was very well put together, and they showed all these timelines and they all converged into one. So, and you just said that they couldn't change anything. But now you're saying that Charlie's death changed things. I don't know which one it is. I'm lost. Which one is it, Candace? Does the timelines do change, or the timelines are fixed now? It just seems weird.
Just cannot pretend that all of this is one big unhappy coincidence. It's entirely plausible, I think plausible, that they knew something about Charlie. And that's why they had him marked and had him monitored and had him likely followed since he was young. And maybe they thought, like the agents think, that if they swarmed him and they stayed with him and they pretended to be his friend, that ultimately they could control Charlie and perhaps change an outcome. They could literally change an outcome related to Charlie. So when for the first time in his life, because I do believe he was managed, I mean, I've already said I was handled. I didn't recognize that I had agents. And for the first time in his life, Charlie peeks his head up and starts to push back in a meaningful way. They couldn't stop him from becoming bigger. That seemed to be inevitable. But they panicked. They seemed to have panicked, right? I mean, this is just starting to happen within.
She did say panished. This woman is adorable, y'all. Here, let me back that up. She said they panished. Y'all, this is craziness. What are we hearing? What is going on here?
Or certainly not in a way that I can articulate. You just cannot pretend that all of this is one big unhappy coincidence. It's entirely plausible, I think plausible, that they knew something about Charlie. And that's why they had him marked and had him monitored and had him likely followed since he was young. And maybe they thought, like the agents think, that if they swarmed him and they stayed with him and they pretended to be his friend, that ultimately they could control Charlie and perhaps change an outcome. They could literally change an outcome related to Charlie. So when for the first time in his life, because I do believe he was managed, I mean, I've already said I was handled. I didn't recognize that I had agents. And for the first time in his life, Charlie peeks his head up and starts to push back in a meaningful way. They couldn't stop him from becoming bigger. That seemed to be inevitable. But they panicked. They seem to have panicked, right? I mean, this is just starting to happen within a year when Charlie's going like, hey, man, I don't actually think this. I don't actually believe this. And then he goes, you know what? Take the money. Take the money out of the organization. And they panicked. They freaked out. And their solution was, no, just kill him. Just kill him. We can't have this.
So the decision was made within, 2 weeks to put away the biggest voice that supported, I guess, I don't know who the theys are, so I don't want to assume, because Candace hasn't said who the they thems are, so I don't want to assume who they are. But I'm assuming the voices, it's never been the left, so I'm assuming somebody on the right. But within 2 weeks, they decided, because Charlie said he wasn't going to take $100 million allegedly, that now all of a sudden they're going to put heads to bed. Okay. And that made sense to them, but they leave Candace here, and she's clearly, and has been clearly for many, many years, contrary to them, whoever the they thems are. But they leave her, they leave Tucker, they leave others, but they take out Charlie Kirk, and nobody actually knows the reasons why they would have taken him out. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I'm sorry. Now that I say it out loud, it makes absolute sense.
This is not something that we are prepared to happen, that outcome of Charlie unleashed, so to speak. And ironically, that seems to be the very thing, his assassination, that catalyzed what they feared most, losing control of Charlie. That's exactly what happened, and they catalyzed that. So it seems to me that right now we're in the midst of this. They keep doing
What is catalyzed? Somebody in the chat tell me, what does catalyzed mean? What does it mean to catalyze something? Because she said catalyze. She didn't say canonize. She didn't say categorize. She said canonize. What is that? I'm just wondering.
These things that only catalyze what they're trying to stop, what they're trying to prevent. For example, even unrelatedly, but the Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron, they filed a lawsuit. We have so much power. What are we going to do to stop this thing? She's getting into the story, is getting to the heart of evil and how the world is run, to figure out that Brigitte is born a man. What are we going to do? We're going to file a lawsuit. A lawsuit filing was a mistake, obviously. It was globally consequential, right? They wanted to stop it, and yet they spread it. Catastrophic to their aims. The more pressure.
No, actually, it's worse on you, because you said you wanted the smoke, so they gave you it. You had to fight the case now.
Pressure they exert toward control, the more they spin out of it. Another example, lock them down at home. Make them wear a mask, right? Create COVID in a lab, make everybody sick, force them to get the jab. Evil is really fun that way until it accidentally awakens the entire world to how fraudulent Big Pharma is. Like, is this now everyone's going, is this just a factory of poison? Do these people hate? Are they so evil? Have we just been giving our bodies over to quote unquote science? Now, going back to Looking Glass and them shutting down this project and not being able to edit whatever it was, we obviously cannot know for certain what it is that they saw when they peered through into this Looking Glass. But I do have a general sense that they're trying to edit its inevitability with ill-guided lawfare and warfare. And what I think is that our collective awareness is a threat. I think everybody peeking their heads up is making them increasingly more frantic. It's like they know we're barreling toward some foregone conclusion, and they have spent decades trying to stop that, trying to prevent that. And when I think about what it is, right, I just consider their general obsessions and their general triggers. They are positively obsessed with the Antichrist. I mean, like people like Peter Thiel, he's like going around giving interviews asking about the Antichrist. That's kind of the entire drift, by the way, of the AI world. When I say I look at these people, I don't like their eyes. Something disturbs me. They mock that.
This woman is obsessed with the occult, New Age. I mean, ma'am, I'm sorry. You've told us more about the Church of Satan than you have about your own church. You've told us more about chaos and all that kind of foolishness than you have about the scriptures. But you want people to say that they're obsessed with the Antichrist. Again, like I told y'all, about 95% of her show is just projection. She's just putting out her own machinations. And this is exactly one of them. She's obsessed with this. She's panicking. She knows that she made a mistake picking a fight with the Macrons. Fill in the blanks. Whatever it is that she's saying that other people are doing, the likelihood is if you look at her, that's why I think she's saying look through the looking glass. Like, use the mirror to look back at her. She's probably the one that's doing it.
Take me out of a clip. Oh my gosh, I don't care. I have spiritual discernment. Something about the entire AI movement feels wrong. And come on, what, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Sam Altman, all of them. And they are, no, you can trust us. It's like they want us all to become automated so that we can be more easily controlled. What they're going to do, okay, we can't control the outcomes. Let's just control where we're at. Let's control every single person in the world and make everything AI so that if we want to, they won't discover history. We can just delete files.
The audio. That might be a good
entirely. Nobody will be reading books anymore. The kids will be stupid. We can just wipe history.
Uh-oh. The audio went out. I don't know. That might be a blessing. Let me find out exactly where I was. 26 minutes in. Let me pull it back in. Hold on one second. I do want to say thank you so much to the very kind super chats. Let me pull this in, make sure. Maybe it didn't render when I pulled it in. Maybe it didn't render. Let's see what we got. But I got this overwhelming feeling that none of you all are really sad that the audio went out. I get this feeling that none of y'all are sad about it.
They are, no, you can trust us. It's like they want us all to become automated.
Nothing.
Oh, man. Okay, let me pull it in. Let me do these real quick. By the way. Okay, so catalyze is an effect of a change. Really? Okay. All right. Well, there we go. It's a real thing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for the two. All the candies have been punked so hard. I was looking, and another day where her supers are down. They're up for the week, but they're not where they were. Just another day. I'm wondering if people are taxed out. Lila Rose says this with the $7. Per Chat GPT, Project Looking Glass never ever existed. It's a conspiracy theory. I mean, it rings like a conspiracy theory, right? It definitely don't sound like something that I would believe is real. I mean, you're talking about somebody using technology to look into the future. Like that, you already lost me right there. Phantom says this, Navy SEAL explained quantum string theory to you only demonstrates how dumb you are. SEALs are door kickers and killers, not quantum scientists. I love the way you said that, man. Thank you for the 5. And welcome, lady, for a brand new member. And it's Tristinity. I see Trinity. Welcome. I apologize if I butchered that. Make sure I got it right. Thank you so much. And welcome, brand new member. If the CIA had that, exactly 0 Navy SEALs would know. Thank you, Phantom. Like, it makes no sense. But Candace believes it. That's the thing. She believes it. Claire, what do you say here with the 5? Believing in man made future manipulation is blasphemous. Candace Owens is a new age crazy. Nothing remotely Christian here. I told y'all. When she came to Turning Point USA, she was praying to the universe. Has she ever stopped? That's my question. Shout out again with the 2. She's given Quantum Leap, Endgame, and The Matrix. She also references Back to the Future in her thumbnail. And I'm trying to think what else I think those are the only movies so far, but it could be more. I might have missed 1 or 2. Thank you, Junebug, with the 5. She's gotten some legal notices and can't say names. It's all they and them. You know what? That is a very good point. That is true. That's a great point. I did not pick that up. That's where the they thems are coming from. There we go. Thank you. She's spewing ridiculousness so that when the trial comes, she can claim insanity. I've heard this. I don't know how easy it is to claim insanity, but I have heard this as this is a theory floating out there that I'm not going to say that it's crazy. That's a good one though. Thanks, Craftman, with the 5. Her head is going to start spinning. She may go into there is a Stargate in the Grand Canyon next. Is there a Stargate in the Grand Canyon? I need to get this video ready because for some reason or other the audio's not rendered. The audio stopped. I don't know what happened. So I can get this video ready while I'm talking. Thank you very much for the 10. Haley right here says this. Candace stole the whole Charlie and lights going out around him from Erica. Erica said that was something only she knew about Charlie and that now she feels he is with her when the lights do odd things. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the 10 and that story. Thank you, Lisa. Operation Looking Glass was a real CIA thing during the Cold War. It didn't work, I hope. Thank you for the 5. I don't know if it did or didn't. I just think the idea that we can look into the future and predict and manipulate the future, that one right there is going to have to, that one is crazy work. But let me get this queued up. I apologize. I thought I was cutting out the commercial and maybe I didn't, all my audio didn't render. But it was actually a short show, so I will give her that. Thank God for that. All right, I'm catching up to where I was. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, we're gonna finish these up. What do we have here? Thank you, Melanie, with a very kind 10. Whoa, sorry about that. With a very kind 10. I heard that she only read fiction for 10 years. I don't doubt that. I totally believe that. I think that we are seeing the fruits of that now in real time. Grace and peace to the best live chat on the internet. I could totally believe that. That makes total sense. Thank you very much. Phantom comes back around the block with a 5. By the way, the only person who has knowledge of the future is Yahweh. He and only he knows and determines the future. He knows us how, he told us how it ends in the Bible. There we go. Like, I don't understand what the fixation is with trying to change the future. And then to believe this thing about Charlie like that is crazy. What do you have here? I am a hunter with the 10. I hate to make a crack in this Matrix guy's tinfoil hat, but the Bible already told us this. All outcomes lead to the same end. That being Jesus. You know what? You just ruined that dude's day. And I appreciate that. Very keen observation. Absolutely. I mean, we already know the end of it. Like, what are we doing? Heather Rose with the 5. I think Romans 1:28 through 30 describes Candace to a T. I should have had that queued up. I'm going to pull back in. I'm going to come back around and pull that up. She should have left those paint chips alone. Phantom, are you saying she was munching on the paint chips? I totally believe it. Charlie said the left extremists could hurt him as he saw how dangerous they are, but he never said he believed TPUSA would harm him. She is lying. I mean, she's literally taken everybody who's actually a person of interest or a group of interest off the table. I like how the best live chat immediately got it. Even if this timeline thing was true, a Christian would see it as God protecting prophecy, but she can only see it as a government conspiracy. Thank you so much for that. And I don't understand, but I do understand. Candace is not a Christian. Heather Rose says this, catalyze to cause or to accelerate a reaction by acting as a catalyst. Okay, well, there we go. I now know. Well, thank you so much for the 5. Her viewership is declining and she's trying anything to get them back. I don't think she's gonna get them back. And I'm gonna show y'all her supers are down again. Her support is down. I'm pretty sure her podcast, I can't see somebody clicking into this podcast for this. I can't imagine, but we'll see in a second. Craftsman says this, sounds to me like she needs to have a Bible reading study, not some conspiracy books. She is going against everything in the Bible teaches. She's promoting satanic ideas and eating of the fruit. You right on the nose. And that's what I said, like the fact that all she reads is books about this type of stuff and not anything to edify. That's got to have some ramifications. And right here, Melanie with the 10. I was in the book club cult, and all the books were conspiracy, occult, and Jew hating based on how she's indoctrinating the candy cult followers. There we go. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate the 10. I appreciate you being over here on the best live chat on the internet. Let's go ahead and switch this over. We're going to get this done. All right. Now that means I got the commercials are in here now. So let me bring this. And I can't guarantee that the audio is going to be dialed in. So I apologize about that. Let's see how it sounds. Wait. This is not the right one.
Everybody peek.
Yeah, this is still the wrong one. Sorry about that. A rookie mistake. All right, we'll pull it now. We got it right. Let's pull it in and let's go. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
That has been going on for a long time. It's the very reason they set about removing the Bible from the classroom, creating Hollywood in general, which was supposed to mirror Babylonian culture, training us to worship stars. They wanted to establish this neo-paganism. They also wanted to make it so that future generations would think atheism was cool. That was by and large successful. It was a period of time where I thought that atheism was cool. But why? Why this push? Well, the obvious answer is because
the audio is
certain, actually, that God is real. That's what they're fighting. They're fighting God at all times.
Crazy.
They know he's real. And that should be refreshing to you. Like, God's obviously real, or would they be spending all this time trying to convince us that he wasn't? Right? Do you spend all of your time trying to convince people that this is something is fiction?
Okay, so the audio is out.
They're terrified of that. Or they wouldn't. They're open Satanists, as we showed you guys yesterday.
It's the audio.
They're trying to foster a culture of demonic idolatry. Think about this. I lost a job in part for saying that pornography is a spiritual weapon
is it me, y'all,
against
or is it
men, and that we needed to look into the history of pornography. Huh? What that should signal to you is that their power relies on us being distracted, on us being focused on carnal desire.
I don't want to traumatize y'all. Then so it's something on my end. Interesting. Okay, let me okay, I'm sorry. You all can hear her, but I can't hear her. Oh, that's terrible.
Desires, right? Entirely living of the flesh. Like Tim Dillon said, the amenities, the pool, the new restaurant.
Oh, this is terrible. I don't know if it's terrible. I think using the word terrible might not be an acceptable term. Here, let me play it through my monitor speakers and just see.
Oh, look, there's a new celebrity over here. Yeah, so the threat is us being aware that spiritual evil exists. That's what they're afraid of. It's why they insist on this constant stream of pornography, filthy music, all of it. Because if it is true, as it's been reported by various whistleblowers, that our thoughts could impact future events, then what would happen if we all started focusing on goodness, eternal goodness, God? Yeah, I think that's the very reason that all of these demons seem to be thrashing right now. And I just wanted to dive into that project because I think we're all sensing a panic and it's real. But I also want you to know.
But if you want people to know about God, why are you not giving them text and understanding so they can glean from that? Like, why are you not doing that? Why is your strategy to expose them to more demonic text? Like, that makes no sense at all. If your goal is to expose, like, that makes no sense. If you think that's crazy. Let me test something out real quick. Hold on one second.
Against men, and that we needed to look into the history of pornography. Huh? What that should signal to you is that their power relies on us being distracted, on us being focused on carnal desires, right? Entirely living of the flesh. Like Tim Dillon said, the amenities, the pool, the new restaurant. Oh, look, there's a new celebrity over here. Yeah, so the threat is us being aware that spiritual evil exists. That's what they're afraid of. It's why they insist on this constant stream of pornography, filthy music, all of it. Because if it is true, as it's been reported by various whistleblowers, that our thoughts could impact future events, then what would happen if we all started focusing on goodness, eternal goodness, God? Yeah, I think that's the very reason that all of these demons seem to be thrashing right now. And I just wanted to dive into that project because I think we're all sensing a panic and it's real, but I also want you to know that it's good. Now, it seems crazy. You're like, no, everybody's out of control. It feels like things are getting dangerous. Yeah, but...
Just for a second, can you all still hear? Real quick, in the green hearts in the chat, if you all can hear. You can hear her. You can hear me. Green hearts in the chat. I don't know what happened. Okay. I got some yeses. Yeah, I don't know who this is that's panicking. Like I said, man, 96% of the stuff she says is really projection. So if anybody's panicking, look at Candace. If she says somebody's worried and thrashing, look at Candace. If she says they're angry and mad, look at her, because that's probably more than likely who she's talking about. Okay, I think we got it resolved, but let's finish up.
It feels to me like it's the last squeals of a dying demon. And we're going to speak more about that, as well as CERN and what they discovered. We have to totally revisit that was happening at CERN just after a brief message from our sponsors. Okay, so modern science kind of being run by Satanists. So obvious. Again, just go back and watch our episode on the moon landing and the rituals that they were doing. It's always been this way, and they're creating it because they want you to worship science. And that their ultimate test to see if they had succeeded in that, I feel like it was COVID, right? They stay inside, like they tried to make this a ritual, save lives. I mean, there was actually a really good article in the Spectator UK regarding how they tried to establish COVID to mirror a religion, the ritual of it, even having something you can wear, a mask to identify with one another. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Point being is that once you see that, you can't unsee it, that modern science is intentionally being created to conflict with God. And there are some really bizarre things that have happened, particularly, I would say, regarding CERN. What do you actually know about CERN? I'm going to bring Mark on to mansplain this. What CERN is and what they were involved in, and you guys kind of remember.
I have no idea why her audio is just bugging out. I don't know if it's me. Is it a rebellion against me? Let me try this again. Hold on one second. I have no idea why it's doing this. All right, let's try again.
We're trying to find the God particle. That was another push. Mark, jump on here and mansplain everything.
I'm happy to. And I just want to preface by saying I am not a particle physicist. So I just use particle physics recreationally. I'm a high school dropout. This is all on my own. But CERN was basically established in 1954 to research particle physics. There's something called the standard model of particle physics to kind of explain how everything exists and what it's made out of, to back up the Big Bang theory of creation. And one of the missing pieces was, how do particles that don't have mass attain mass out of nothing? And so in 1964, a group of scientists theorized that there's something called a Higgs boson. One of the scientists was named Peter Higgs, I believe. And so the search was on to find this particle. And so that's why CERN created the Large Hadron Collider, which is based in Geneva, Switzerland, and is a 17-mile tunnel underground, up to 600 feet underground in some places, where they shoot subatomic particles at each other at a very high speed to try and break them apart to see what they're composed of. And so in 2012, they observed a reaction that's consistent with this particle that was theorized back in 1964 that some people were calling it the God particle, to explain how something can come from nothing and essentially try and erase God from the story of creation to create a scientific explanation of it.
So in short, exactly, they're trying to be God. This is like the next step for them. We're controlling humanity. We're controlling their minds. Like, what can we do? What's the next step? We need to become creators of things on Earth. That's all the way. By the way, you guys, part of my conspiracy, why I'm like have 12 kids. It's because they want to even control birth. They want to control dying. Like they're debating. Oh, you should have. They always sell it as like it's more freedom for you. No, it's more power for them. We're going to decide if you're allowed to be born. Everyone's going to eventually in the future need IVF, which puts them in a place of power. And then also, we're going to also tell you when you die, which is why they have now these pods, which is being debated. And where's the home of the pods, the death pods? Switzerland. Anyways, of course, the tunnel is underground. And it's interesting when you consider that they started searching.
What in the merciful name of God does this have to do with anything? What are we listening to? What is this? Yeah, this is super boring. And it's not only that it's boring, it's like it doesn't tie together. Like, what are we listening? This is very much akin to listening to a crackhead explain to you quantum physics. And let's say they have a book, they're teaching out of a textbook, right? It doesn't sound like the person knows what they're talking about. They're just letting somebody else mansplain it or video clip, but they themselves don't understand it. And this is how she vets stuff. This is how she vets. So, man, this is crazy. Okay, we're going to get done, I promise.
For this particle, when they realized, that's when the 70s is when they began this looking glass project, when they started, not the CIA's looking glass project, but when they first got this Sumerian technology hooked up with a computer. It's an interesting parallel, right? And I also wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about what happened with CERN, which I've always wondered about. It was a big WTF moment with these elites, and you might recall this happening in 2016, but maybe you weren't awake yet. They quite literally got caught, and I think it was some worker that was walking around doing this nighttime ritual satanic ceremony gathered around the statue of Shiva. Interesting for those of you that are following our Becoming Brigitte series. In season 2, I went into Dionysus, the god of Amiens, which was from that town where weird things happen, and that's where both Brigitte and Emmanuel are from. Well, Shiva in the Hindu faith, if you look it up, this would be the nearest equivalent. Dionysus being like god of wine and revelry, Shiva would be the equivalent here. Anyway, they got caught literally in the middle of a satanic human sacrifice ritual. And I'm just going to read you this article verbatim because otherwise you won't believe.
Okay. But what does this have to do with Charlie Kirk? And it's interesting. She doesn't, and I might be wrong. She just said the Becoming Brigitte season 2. She actually hasn't done season 2. So where would they have known about what you're just said about the Amiens and Shiva and Dionysus? This seems interesting. Or maybe she meant, I don't know, but she said season 2. And season 2 hasn't come out.
Believe me, okay? This took place. CERN discovers satanic human sacrifice taking place at the Large Hadron Collider grounds, okay? A satanic human sacrifice, it reads, has been staged on the grounds of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, the home of the Large Hadron Collider. The footage shows which I'm going to show you guys, a cloaked group wearing long flowing black robes. One of them has on hiking boots underneath. They're seen walking around before a woman moves onto the floor and then is stabbed. But the footage, then the person who's recording it, you're going to see the drop and they're like, what the heck happened? And they are obviously scared. So when they got caught with this, I want you to know they come out and they say, oh, that was a prank. I'm sorry. It's a massive statue, as you're about to see. You're telling us that the leading scientists in the world decided to meet by the cloak of night to do a prank, and someone at the facility gave a statement and said the PR guy said they were taking their sense of humor too far by staging a satanic ritual. I'm sorry, is this an acceptable excuse? This is like when a pastor finds $300K behind a toilet. We're going to need a little bit more here. Is the woman still alive? We can't even tell if this was a fake stabbing in this video.
She's going to do more research about this that happened in 2016 than she is about finding out about Mitch Snow and all of his nefarious nighttime activities, right? She believes Mitch Snow. When we ask those same questions about about Mitch Snow, you know, we can't ask those questions. But she can ask all these questions about CERN, and we just got to take her word for it. Okay.
The leading scientists of the world, and they admit, by the way, we're really concerned about security. We don't know how this video got out. It wasn't like this prank was intended for the world. Somebody who worked there recorded it, got it to a YouTuber who then published it. And their response was to say, that was a prank. Don't ask any more questions. Let's move on. And the media just backed him up. It was a prank. Yeah. So we're going to take a look at this ceremony, which again is taking place under a Hindu deity. And the spokesperson confirmed it's real. And this person had no permission to record it. And there was obviously, therefore, had no permission to have it published. Take a look at this, and I'm going to have to talk through it in case some people are listening on audio, but you really should try to tap in and watch this on video as well. Okay, so it's a massive, massive statue. That's just to start. Are we bringing this in as a part of the prank? I don't know. There is a woman, there's a bunch of people that are in black robes, and some of them have hoods up. And then there's a woman that's wearing all white in the center of it. And they are now encircling this woman, and she's like laying flat on the floor as somebody is circling around her. I think he might be holding some fire. And then it looks like she gets stabbed. I'd like to know where that woman is today. If this was a prank, you then hear heavy breathing and you hear a guy saying F, 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 F. Doesn't seem like it was a prank to him. He didn't think it was a prank. And we just moved on. We just absolutely moved on from that, which is incredible. It's incredible to consider that as a society, we have been so distracted that we were like, oh yeah, I guess that's fine. It was just a prank or whatever. Anyways, like I said, it feels like evil is becoming more radical, more obvious, and more.
What kind of evil would you be speaking on, Candace? All right, we know TPUSA is evil. You already told us that. But what other things are evil, Candace? What other forms of evil are becoming radicalized, which I think is a very interesting term that she used. She said radicalized. Let's finish.
Or noticeable to most of us who had never considered that any of this was possible. And a part of that is just recognizing how fake the media is. And this brings me to Daily Wire, Unhinged. I don't even know what to say. They have dropped another video that kind of, if I'm being honest, feels like a laced threat. They are...
Do me a favor. Everybody just flood the chat with DW. I'm sorry. Daily Wire got this woman all in her feelings. She was on Twitter going crazy. Please flood the chat with DWs. That's all I want to see. Just a string of DWs. That's it. They got her bothered by this. And again, I think they're just trolling. I think they're just trolling, and I'm all about it. They're trying to say that there's a threat in there. Girl, bye. Why? Why threaten you when they got you all hot and bothered like you are now? Just I'm sorry. I think they need to put out 1 a day, 2, 3, 4 a day. That they need to just keep doing this all day long. And that face that we see right here is the face that we want to see. That's the face. That's the face. All right, let's bring it back in. Let's go. Thank y'all so much. Flood the chat with DW. You know, Daily Wire is crushing it. They are ruining your Christmas already because they got you bothered. They got you shooketh.
Mocking Egyptian planes, but they have put in a voiceover, again, dropped on my old socials. So using my face to attack me in a really strange way by suggesting that they are following my every move and my every personal decision that I make, that they will be watching me.
The fact that she doesn't get the irony of what they said, that shows you that she's not, when Ben Shapiro says she's a faux intellectual, that shows you that she's missing the point of what they're saying. They're not saying they're following you. They're saying they're making fun of what you said about how the Egyptian planes follow all around the world almost to follow just a few key people, and they can turn off their transponders and all that silliness. That's what they're doing, Candace. You're just not smart enough to figure it out. And you're like, oh, they must be threatening me. No, they're mocking you, Candace. Nobody actually, I think most people want you to remain healthy and strong so you can continue to keep making a complete and total fool of yourself. I don't think anybody wants anything physically harm to happen to you, because why? We're enjoying laughing at you. Let's go.
So I'm going to let you watch the video that they dropped on my socials.
You should be obsessed with traveling, not just the destination, but the experience of getting there. When you travel with us, you'll feel warm, you'll feel welcomed, and you'll feel watched, because every seat comes with the peace of mind of knowing someone is following you with 2 planes. This is what you can expect when you fly with At Egyptian Air, we definitely never mix up our time zones, flight numbers, or flight times. We know every journey is your personal business. After
look at, we might have to back this up. Look at her face. I'm sorry. Let me just back up a little smidgen. Look at her face. She is perturbed, as my grandma would have said. Back up a little bit. There we go. She is perturbed. Look at her face.
Watch the video that they dropped on my socials.
You should be obsessed with traveling, not just the destination, but the experience of getting there. When you travel with us, you'll feel warm, you'll feel welcomed, and you'll feel watched, because every seat comes with the peace of mind of knowing someone is following you with 2 planes. This is what you can expect when you fly with At Egyptian Air, we definitely never mix up our time zones, flight numbers, or flight times. We know every journey is your personal business. After all, your personal business is our business, is our motto. Egyptian Air, wherever you travel,
we will follow.
I'm sorry, Candace, if you can't get the comedy, I got to get that face. I got to get that face. Candace, you're not the hero of this story. You are getting back in spades exactly what you've been dishing out. You've been dishing out these specious, crazy scenarios, these hobnob put together patchwork theories for the longest. And now Daily Wire is the hero we didn't know we needed. And they're making fun of you. And ma'am, there's nothing you can do about it. I really wish I could help them make more. I really do. They need more. There should be a steady stream. There should be an announcement every hour that they're dropping another video. They should. I'm sorry. I think they should, man. And on that channel, and she's mad about the channel. Ooh, this part, we should have skipped all that, CERN and Sumerian looking glass foolishness. We should just start it right here. This is it. This is exactly what you get, Candace. You've been a troll to the internet for the longest. And guess what? Now you're getting trolled.
And so they've colored the letters there on the text for watched, followed, we will follow. I don't even know what to say to that. Like I told you, they're unhinged. It's been going on, by the way. It's like gang stalking. It's just been going on for 2 years consistently behind the scenes. Now they're just kind of gone mass down.
So now every time that you've tracked down where Erica was, every time where you've tracked down where Tyler Boyer was. By the way, let me know if y'all want to watch. There's a good interview where Tyler Boyer answers a lot of these questions that Candace has thrown out there. They're pretty compelling. Let me know if you want to watch that. Comment down below. So every time you've tracked or stalked, or you actually literally want to know what elementary school or whatever school Charlie Kirk went to when he was a child, that's not stalking. But Daily Wire making fun of you and putting it out there in front of everybody, that's stalking. Okay. You finding the very tertiary, this group of college students that walked the way that Tyler Robinson walked, and you finding each one of these people and digging up all their information, that's not stalking. But Daily Wire, that is stalking. well, then I guess we approve of Daily Wire stalking.
People are seeing it in front of the scenes. Like, I just am not allowed to be fired from that company. And I don't know what to really say or do about that other than just to keep publicizing that I find their behavior to be alarming. It's discomforting. And there's something about this that feels very dangerous to me.
Then you know what? Then continue on. Daily Wire, I don't know what we need to do to let Daily Wire know that we approve of these shenanigans, but we need to let them know. Maybe we need to run over to Daily Wire. If the mods could drop the Daily Wire link in the chat, can y'all go and just flood the Daily Wire comment section with green hearts and let them know that we rock with y'all. We mess with y'all. We want y'all to know we get down. We are down with y'all.
And that feels like a warning, as many people said, a threat, a laced threat, the weird devilish voice at the end, we will follow you, and then having a plane then burst into flames. It's not a joke. They don't mean it to be a joke at all. So yeah, there you go. We'll just put that out there. Lastly, before I get into some of your comments, I just wanted to also, Mike Pompeo, former U.S. Secretary of State, Tucker had exposed that during his time at the CIA, I believe it was Mike Pompeo. Am I correct, you guys, just in my ear, that he tried to have, what's his face, murdered? Julian Assange? It was Pompeo, right? Okay, you fact check that before. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Tucker had exposed that. I think it was Mike Pompeo. I will correct that momentarily if I'm wrong. But anyways, they are just openly discussing how they need to edit history books. I was correct? Yeah, he discussed options to take out Assange just to make sure we're above bar there. Anyways, he is sitting down and discussing how in the future they're just going to have to edit out of textbooks for kids that are in school the part about how they murdered tens and thousands of Palestinian women and children and innocent men, because it's just not good for their aims. Here's him in his own words. Take a listen.
The next generation of young people won't remember October 7th in the same way. That's true in Israel and in America and broadly in the world. And we need to make sure two things. One, it's not that we don't forget. We need to make sure that the story is told properly so that when the history books write this, they don't write about the victims of Gaza, right? They can't, the history. And it's, I should be a little more precise. There were victims in Gaza, right? It's true. There are civilian casualties in every war that's ever been fought. But the victims were the people of the nation state of Israel. The aggressor was the Iranian regime in the proxy of Hamas, and we need to make sure that the history books reflect that, and that requires each of us every day to talk about it in real time with our children, with our grandchildren, about it in a way that is serious and thoughtful and complete and moral.
I just love that they started applauding. They were just like, yep, got to keep that part out of the textbooks about the innocent Palestinians. He's like, we're on camera. We just need to make sure the focus is just on the Israelis, because that matters more to us and the CIA. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Everyone's just gone mask down, I think, is what I'd like to say about that. In conclusion, we will throw it to some of our sponsors, then I'm going to get into some of your comments. All right, you guys, there are a lot of brands that look good on the Surfy Girl mug. You just kind of let him run psychological operations. You wanted us to have a satanic psyche? It's just completely crazy. Anyway, some of the comments that are coming in for today's episode. First comment from Rachel. Grateful for the role that you are playing in humanity's awakening. Charlie knew what your purpose would be. Many have come before, but you have an army of light behind you. Stay wise, stay alert, and keep going. We are with you and this movement. Thank you so much. And it really is all of us. And like I said, as terribly awful and that as his death was, and as corrupt as it was, and how it makes us all feel spiritually sick that it was done in broad daylight with the intention of having us all watch it. If there is any silver lining in it, it is that it does seem to have catalyzed our perception. It does seem to have catalyzed us waking up globally to how evil the people are that rule over us. Docket
Candace.
Dakota writes, I think you knew it from the beginning. Charlie was becoming too aware of his own captivity. Reality is catching up with me, taking my inner child and fighting for custody with these responsibilities they entrusted me. You're referring to the yay power verse that Charlie sent me. Yeah, I think it was catching up with him. That is correct. And he started realizing like, whoa, like, am I allowed to be a person outside of this thing? And their answer came back forcefully, which was no. Macy writes, appreciate your content. If they don't like you so much, why not just scrub the internet of you? Is this a planned awakening? They did. You guys remember, please. Are you new here? Last year, 2024 rather, was a struggle. We had to really fight. That's why we ended up building the Candace Owens website, was because they knocked us, they demonetized us on YouTube. They were throttling us. I'm literally banned from countries. Like we wanted to go on tour, and so I could speak, and they banned me from a country. Again, now I'm sure they're wondering, well, was that helpful? Especially, it must have.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a real question. If she was banned from YouTube, and we're currently watching her on YouTube, what has she changed since she left the Daily Wire? Because that's when the ban happened, right? When she left the Daily Wire. What changed from then to now? Because now she's on unfettered. There's no restraint. There's nothing keeping her in. What's changed? But we're supposed to believe that everybody else is some kind of controlled operation, some controlled opposition, some psyop, except her. When she's the one that is able to say anything she wants to say, do anything she wants to do. Who's the real psyop? Who's the real controlled opposition? Who's the real industry plant? Whatever the term is that we're using today, but who is it? I just find it interesting, as if she keeps trying to position herself like she's just one of everybody else when she's not. Okay, let's go.
Wondered that when we went #1 globally, but what ended up happening was their evil plans forced me to really focus on this podcast and what I wanted to do with this podcast, since I wasn't allowed to go on tour and they were trying to get me canceled successfully from speaking events and calling people.
Why don't you go on tour in the United States? Remember, you're America first. Why are you not here touring in the US? And can somebody point out to me, when has Candace ever been on a tour by herself? Not a part of an organization, not a part of TP, what was it, the female summit? Like, when has Candace ever done her own speaking engagements on her own? And I'm sure there's been some, but I don't see many. Like, she needed AmFest. She needs TP USA to push her. But show me where that is. I would love to see it.
People up and threatening them for hosting me on stage. All of that happened in 2024. So I certainly do not think, to answer your question, Macy, that evil wants everyone to be aware of them. That's not, nope. Satan loves the dark, okay? They love the dark. They hate light. Alyssa writes, Kathy O'Brien would be a powerful interview. You have a platform to give her a stronger voice. I just finished her book, Transformation of America. Yes, I've heard about Kathy O'Brien. There are so many people that I could speak to. I know about Project Monarch. We've spoken about it on this show as being the precursor to what the Nazis did here, which was all about traumatizing children. Moderator Marzi writes, a lot of drama involving ICE. I wanted to let you know that some of them get training and recruitment from Israel, directly from the IDF. This potentially means Israeli citizens in the USA deporting people using federal authority for criticizing Israel. I do not like the military direction that the Trump administration is taking. I will say that right off the bat. Once I realized that he does not have his own thoughts and he is not controlling anything, and that the Zionists are controlling his entire cabinet, no. I don't like what they're doing in Israel. Why would I want Zionists to have control, which they already have since they killed JFK, of our military today, and then cheer them on taking to the streets? Again, that feels like they're trying to go, well, you're MAGA, you like Trump, so accept this. And it's like, well, Trump's not acting MAGA. Trump is acting never Trump. So I've always been never Trump. So I can't support this. I can't support anything that he's doing. I'm certainly not cheering it on. But also, I've already retired from politics. Like I told you, I kind of hate everybody. And I think that's good. I think that means I've become reasonable now that I hate both sides and realize that at the top, it's the same evil by a different name. Anderson writes, what the heck? Sleep paralysis is crazy. The hat man, shadow man, and feeling like someone is on your chest. I was in gate as a kid. The pink drink. Yes, they gave me that. Did you guys all have, I need to look at the chat right now. Were you guys all forced to literally drink fluoride? I know that sounds crazy now that we know what it does, that it burns your pineal glands. But were you guys all forced to do that in class? Like take a shot of fluoride, the pink drink, the binaural sounds, and I have narcolepsy. What they have in common is REM sleep. Yeah, I think they were testing us in more ways than possible. In fact, my cousin thinks that even when they make us take hearing tests, that they're actually doing frequency tests. And if certain kids can hear certain frequencies, they mark them. When she told me that, I was like, no, not another conspiracy that I instantly believe. Drake the Wolf writes, do you ever feel like the feds are taking notes every time their story gets picked apart so that the same mistakes aren't made in the future? Or am I giving them too much credit for I think the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. It's out of the bag. They were doing really good for a long time. 60s was their golden decade. But I don't know, they became the magicians that believe in their own magic, and they believed in their own power, and they underestimated the power of the illusion. So it was really us believing in them that mattered more than the power that they had amassed while we believed in them. That's just my perspective. Benny writes, Fuentes said on his show last night that we need to stop talking about pedos in relation to Epstein. He called the teen girls, some that are 13 and 14, barely legal. Being upset about it makes you a libtard. The only problem was him being an Israel spy. I don't watch Nick Fuentes. I obviously, as soon as I had him here and then he flipped, like somebody gave him instructions and then looked into him even slightly, it was the most obvious thing to me in the entire world. He's a federal informant. So yeah, I don't even, it doesn't even hit. I just don't care. But I also don't care. People watch him and they love him. So it doesn't shock me, obviously, that he was very much on the Charlie Kirk was totally taken out by a 30-06 by one person load shooter on the rooftop, because that makes sense. Those were the federal talking points. Lex writes, same people who hate Candace love Stranger Things. Same government, just fake and gay. I have not watched Stranger Things, but I heard is it good? I don't know. You guys let me know. Anyway, we unpacked a lot today. I just love that we were able to open another layer of this. And like I said, it's something that I think about often now, reading messages that seem so prophetic. It's like, well, how did he know? Was he dreaming these things? Yes. He was repeatedly having these recurring dreams about how he would die and how it had to happen. The same way that I was having recurring dreams about the fact that he was betrayed. And we will jump more into that narrative tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Goodness gracious, y'all. Y'all owe me something. Man, that was terrible. That was horrible. What in the world? And I use the term, this is a here, I'll use another term. This is a filler. Most of you have some series that you really enjoyed, some series that you really like watching, maybe watch it more like because it's on streaming or whatever like that. And let's say the series had 20 episodes per season, right? But there were some episodes that you were like, they were the main characters on the side quests that had nothing to do with the main story of the show. There's, episode 6 and 7 and episode 16 and 17 had nothing to do with the show. They were just this side quest. Those episodes are called filler episodes. And it's usually because they had something that they needed to do. Maybe they were trying to work on a script. And so they created this episode that really had nothing to do with anything. Nothing, literally nothing at all. And it's just a filler episode. The problem is, I feel like all of these episodes are filler. Like there is nothing new. You just told us about CERN. You told us about the Large Hadron Collider and some kind of rituals going on. And the Sumerian device that allows you to look into the future. First of all, that all sounds crazy. It sounds like we need to ask, are you okay? But that didn't move us any further. There was yards lost if you were playing football. Like you went 4 and out. That was it. You got nowhere. You moved no chains. You did not move the ball anywhere down the field. What are we listening to? That woman is crazy, y'all. That woman is crazy. But please make sure you go. Daily Wire is getting hammered for this video, by the way. So y'all make sure y'all go over to Daily Wire and support them and let them know we appreciate it, man. Because they're giving Candace, look, it's very clear that got under Candace's skin. It's very clear. She done sent all the bots, all the Cantifas over there. That's why they're not over in church today. They all over there wreaking havoc. But let's finish this up. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. All right, what do we have here? This is somehow supposed to be related to what she believes unalived Charlie. Can someone do a wellness check on her husband? I don't think he is living anymore to help keep her in check. Well, I mean, many people argue that, well, he's the executive producer of her show, so he knows what's going on. He's just as complicit, in my opinion. But thank you so much. I am Hunter for the 10. What do you say here? All right. Phantom says this was the 2. She must have learned that word recently. That's a good point. She might have. Catalyzed. Yeah. I know. I just learned it. Candace is being used for some spiritual warfare. Thank you very much, Tracy, for the 2. And you're right on the money. I mean, she talks about things are being demonic, but you don't give anybody a alternative to the demonic. That's crazy work. That's going to be studied by science. Phantom says this with the 2. We don't care what she thinks about anything. We really don't. I think we're just having a good time laughing at her. I feel comfortable saying that. What about you? Phantom says this, shaking my head. She thinks government knows everything. Just dumb. They might know more than me, but they don't know everything. And therein is the problem. Thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate the very kind super chats and all of the support. I'm just going to point out one thing. I don't know why my interweb was acting crazy, so I do apologize about that. It might be time to do an upgrade. I'm just going to show you this because I think this is very telling. Now, apparently, if you go to Playboard to sorry about that, y'all. I have no idea what happened. All right. I think my computer just wants me to shut it down and restart it today. So I'm going to do that real quick in a moment. I just want to point this out as we get ready to round these bases. Candace's show, and I'm on Playboard here. Candace's show is the number 3 super chatted, viewed channel today. It is no longer on the top super chatted list. Let me zoom in for y'all real quick. It's no longer. She used to rule the roost on super chatted. I'm sorry, not super chatted, but views. So this is very interesting. So she's going down. So support wise, this is not saying that she doesn't have super chats. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, however, is she got $1,800 today, which is extremely low compared to some of her other days. Let me show you real quick. And what I think is the more telling aspect of this. So again, if we look, we see that number when she got right before Christmas break, almost $7,800, I think it was that day. Insane. But she had almost 680 super chats that day. She had 7,661 super chats. I'm sorry, in super chats. But she had 680 supers. That's a lot of super chats, y'all. That's a lot. Just think about it. That's a lot of super chats, super stickers, and so forth. But I just want you to notice this number right here. We're not even going to look at the dollar amounts, but we're going to look here. Notice that her numbers of support is going down. drastically. Today she had 124 supers. I mean, that's great for somebody like myself who has only 65,000 subscribers. Shout out to those people that are subscribed. Please make sure you subscribe. Help me hit my 100,000 subscribers by April. I appreciate you. But that makes sense for somebody like myself, not for somebody who has 5 million subscribers, allegedly. Now, this really starts to look very strange. When you say, wait, she has 5 million subscribers? Yeah. Look at how her view numbers are starting to go sideways. What's going on here? Not saying, hey, it's still, it's still a serious number. Let's tell the truth, shame the devil. But her numbers are going down. They're not as serious as they were before. So let's look real quick. What was her number today? I'm sorry. So allegedly today she had 2 million views on her channel. But yesterday she had 411,000. The day before that was 307,000. Something don't sound right, does it? It's starting to look weird. Like, how are you getting such low numbers and you have such a high? I mean, you have 5.7 million subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers. And you are somewhere trending at 411,000 views. I think we see what the problem is. Candace is losing momentum. She's losing that drive that people were coming in. Now they're just like, this is what's going on here. After the whole Mitch thing, the Mitch was a glitch. Let's just tell the truth. That Mitch Snow thing really messed up her channel. I'm going to say that. The Mitch Snow debacle in Fort Huachuca really messed up her channel. Because after that, everything went south. We had that's the first time we had Mitch on live. That's the first time she started accusing Erica of stuff. And all of that stuff seems to have gone and bit her in the butt. She accused Brian Harpole, all this kind of stuff. Cabot Phillips, all these people showed up into she invited all these people into the group chat. And guess what? They just left her on red. I think the problem is I don't think she's going to recover. And I'm gonna theorize about this, Junebug. She needs to start a new series or it's going to go down. Well, remember, we know what the next series is going to be. We already know what it is. If we could snap our fingers and they're done with the Charlie Kirk, we already know what the next series is going to be. It's going to be Brigitte Macron. Well, I think she's over a barrel about that because I'm pretty confident that case is going to go all the way to trial. The Macrons are not interested in settling. And therein is the problem. So she's going to, I don't think she's going to be able to talk about it because she's going to be getting shellacked in court over it. So I think she's in trouble. I think she's painted herself into a corner. Here, I'm going to get ready to get up out of here. But what did you say here? Thank you so very much, Craftsman, with the 5. It's interesting that her numbers went down. Iran had a blackout. Venezuela also, just asking questions. That actually is kind of, that dog could hunt. Okay. I can't see. Let me see. Can we see where your subscribers are coming from? I don't think you can see that in Playboard. I'm sure there's somewhere that you can see, maybe like in vidIQ or something like that, where her subscribers are coming from, which would be very interesting to see. I'm just looking. I don't see a way to tell that. That's a very interesting question, though, or point that you're making there. I can dig it. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'll have to look into that. That's a very good question. I've always speculated that her audience is primarily from overseas, but maybe they're from a particular place like Iran. That would change a lot of it. That would change the complexity for sure. Interesting. Okay. Y'all, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank y'all for hanging in there late. I will be late again tomorrow, but I will make sure if I do download it, I'll double check the audio before I do so. I will make sure it's good to go. What did you say? You can go back and compare the days and her numbers. I can't go back and see those, but I want to know like where her subscribers come from. That's what I want to know, because now Craftsman's got me thinking over here. Got me thinking. Now, if somebody runs across something, dearwokec@gmail.com. If in your own little research or you know a better way to find that out, feel free. I would love to know a little bit more about where do her people come from, which I think would be very interesting. Wait, you never helped us find the new screw tape thing. It's on my channel right here on the, and it is I mean, it's on my community post right here, by the way. Here it is right here, but I mean, it's all right. So there's the screw tape is right there on my community post. I reposted it again this morning to let everybody know we're gonna watch the movie on next week. So there's that. But if you go to my Substack, you can just look at you can see the webinar from last night. And let me put that up there as well. And I'm gonna get ready to bug out of here. All right, and here is the Substack. You can let me pull it in. All right, so here's my Substack, and here's the Screw Tape Letters book discussion right here. And just click on it, and it's not letting me open it up because it wants to make me look bad. If you want to check it out, we had a great discussion, but I'm sorry if anybody missed it. I'll make sure we do a better job of making sure everybody has it for next time. All right, everybody, thank y'all so much for rocking with us and hanging in there. I appreciate you. Tomorrow will be a late 6:30-ish start as well, and I don't think she's doing a show on Friday, so we'll maybe Friday we'll just do like body cam footage all night or something like that. We'll just cleanse the palate, floss, and all that kind of good stuff. So everybody, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, if I earned it, go ahead and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of April. So I'd love for y'all to be a part of that. Thank you so much. Green hearts on the way out the door. Thank you so much. Tip your waiters, and everybody have a fantastic night. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.